so I titled this "The Cold is Moving In," and I should be moving out. But I really don't want to rush to get it south too fast because I know it's just going to be a cold spell. So after we get through it, there's going to be like 90-degree days on the coast. It'll be a heat wave that hits, and I don't want to be caught in that either. So it's going to be a balance of how to deal with this exactly. Dora has nothing to worry about. You got the longest day of the year coming up. What state are you in? I am in Arkansas, and not far from Little Rock. I'm moving a little bit further south tomorrow. Anything to get a little going. What, north? No, you're experiencing summer, and it's going to be the longest day of the year in Australia. It's a great time to celebrate. But around here, now that I'm dealing with Midwest problems, go back up north because it's colder and there's more snow. Come back. What do you mean? You're in Australia. Stay warm. Oh, Ohio is probably gonna get cold. Oh, Dora's not in Australia. That's just your name. That's kind of like I kill the Illuminati. He doesn't actually kill Illuminati. He's just using that as a name. He's not actually putting a message out there that that's what that's an activity he's a part of, performing a performance activity. What do you mean it's going to get cold? It's 21 here right now. Yeah, I need to move south because I don't want to go west, and I don't think east is going to bring any big relief. Going straight south at this point, for where I'm at, just going straight south. No, just come back to Joplin. Oh, no, no, I'm not taking any housing. I'm not looking. I was thinking maybe I could just check in on Thursday night for at a hotel for that really cold weather. Maybe for Thursday night or Friday night. Plop down $100 each night. Oh yeah, and then have some regrets. I've dealt with cold weather. Get down to Georgia. Georgia's not south of me. They don't have too bad a temperature. Louisiana's a good. No, no, Louisiana's not an option. If you're only you don't go to Louisiana if you're freezing to death and you have a choice to go to Louisiana. You need to. It's better to just freeze to death than go to Louisiana. What do you want, to rot in jail? Rot in jail or freeze? I'd rather freeze. Um, I'm going south, and I'm gonna hug. I'll stay on the outskirts of Louisiana and go down Mississippi. I really don't want to jump into Mississippi so quickly. That's kind of why I'm okay. I'm veering towards Little Rock, but I'm gonna veer back east to get around Louisiana. But I kind of wanted to get a little closer to Little Rock. I don't know, just a look. I'm seeing different vegetation, which is always fascinating, and different animals, different bird calls, different birds, different things. It's so neat to see. I'm seeing a lot of evidence of swamp activity around here. Getting further south, they have pools of water on the fields. I don't know what the farmers are growing, but they got granaries all over. But I look in the fields and they're just pools. So let's see. Rebecca loves Little Rock. Yeah, I'm probably not going to experience Little Rock the same as you. It's going to be pretty cold. I might even just go through it kind of fast anyway. Maybe stop at a library or two. Hug the eastern outskirts. We'll see. Depending on how I feel and the weather. X. It's something I wanted to get kind of close to, just get a smell of it at least. But I'm not going to restaurants and staying at the finest hotels. I'm just doing the bum the bum exploration. And I'll say that coming south down, practically straight south down, I've been seeing a lot of abandoned buildings. That's just incredible. They rot. I think buildings rot. Don't be a hero. Yeah, I'm probably gonna be dead on Friday, as cold as it is. I really need to be. I got my heat packs. They're within reach, and I just need to find my neck warmers. It's been off and on with those things. Uh, yeah. Oh, the terrain, and yeah, you can't just wander in the woods around here. It's so wet all over. I'm not in alligator territory, but the woods, they're just wet. You just don't. Yeah, you just can't go anywhere. It's not like the Southwest desert where you could just walk anywhere with no problem. This is this is a swamp. You have to have lots of low, less than a foot deep water all over the place, around the trees all over. You're homeless. Yeah, somebody told me I was houseless, not homeless. I don't know. It's kind of a similar way to describe things. How's the antifreeze? Um, I don't know. Should be fine. I don't like to use my car heater. I'm not gonna sit with my car running just for the heater. There's no way. I'll use heat packs. I don't run my car to warm myself up. I tried running my car to cool myself down in the summertime, and I got sick off of that. The vents were blowing really sickening air, and it made me feel ill. So I use fans. I gotta keep the fans charged for the summertime, and I gotta keep my hand warmers ready to go for the winter time for emergencies. But I mean, I'm exercising more, and my blood flow is a lot better than it has been in the past. I'm being more active in different ways, uh, as compared to in the past, and I don't feel it quite as vulnerable. Can you get a hot water from a gas station? Yeah. Oh, of course. Not in a plastic bottle. I got metal containers I could pour water in. But do I want to? Do I care? I don't know. The advantage of hot water is that if I wanted to boil up my eggs, I would be able to pick up hot water from the gas station, and then that would just be an advancement in the cooking process. I'd have hot water ready, so it takes less time to cook them eggs or cook whatever I want to cook. So that'd be it. Drinking hot water, maybe, but I don't know. Just as long as I have all the insulation and cushion, an extra pair of pants and maybe socks, and just cover up everything. I got pretty good stuff in here. It's just I gotta find it again. I got south enough where it was warm again. I was wearing a lot of cold weather gear because I got caught in maybe 17-degree weather back in Iowa. I got caught in cold weather in Iowa. Travis, watch you, Dr. Berg. He's smart, healthy stuff. He'll make you get healthy. Yeah, I got a bad burping problem. That's my biggest concern. The burping upon eating, and it's just incredible. For a while, the burping was being stopped. I was like unable to burp a lot of times, but I'm kind of able to burp more often, but I burp a lot. And sometimes I'll just have some. They're so forceful. My burps are so forceful that it makes my lips tremor, and I'll even spit out some spittle too because I burp out such a forceful large amount of air. It makes my lips do a trembling, like I'm. That's the amount of burping I do is a. It makes it just it's incredible how much air just gets built up, and then I just quickly force it out. And it's maybe a quick force because the sphincter doesn't want to stay open for very long. It's not going to be a gradual like escape of air. It's got to come out. Burps always got to come out forcefully, and I get a lot of them. Yeah, I roar like a lion. I don't know if Dr. Bird can help me with this. I don't know. I've been trying to research what other I mean, you look on the internet, and there's opinions on what to do. I've looked into a lot. Any veggies? I try to mix and match. I eat more fruits than vegetables, and I mix and match. But veggies taste not so great in general, and I got to go with what my appetite suggests, whatever I want to eat. But I'll have zucchini with my eggs sometimes, and that zucchini is for texture. It's a good texture to have with eggs. Raw zucchini with, you peel it, and then you have the eggs. Egg yolk is a great, like a spread. Egg yolks make a good, like a cream or something. If you gotta use cream, it's a good cream. Yeah, what is the temperature? My gauge says 46, so it's probably 36. Oh no. Melatonin and magnesium for burping? No, that's extract talking. I don't talk extracts for anything. I don't agree with that. Sometimes you have to try until you find. Yeah, I just got to keep trying. Like, I'm fixing my knee problem. I thought it was maybe using the strapping myself up and doing knee squats. But instead, I mean, that helped. But instead, it's actually doing the stick squats. And that's the front sticks, not the back sticks. Holding them in front with my hands. It's pretty much a Hammerschmidt squat. Hack squat. Do the hack squats. But I got sticks that are in front of me. So I do a hack squat with my hands holding the sticks behind me. And I'm really putting a big focus on the interior part of my knee. Really tiring that muscle out. Tightening it up. And that is really taking the pain away. I'll test it out again. And I'll see if I can step up on a picnic table without any pain. This whole time I've been suffering the left knee pain. My right knee's been perfectly fine. And that's the test. Like, I'll step up on a picnic table with my right leg, no problems. And then I do the left leg, and it's like I can't pick myself up without trying to jump up or support. So that's the test. And I'm feeling less pain. I used to brace a lot for that knee pain. And it's not coming as much, so I don't have to brace as much. I can actually relax when I step up hills and stuff. I suffered many years. I suffered a year and a half with this left knee pain, and now I'm just starting to really figure things out. It was it was a lot. It takes a particular exercise, and it pretty much mimics the leg extensions at the gym. And I've always known leg extensions are a great benefit, but I mean, I don't go to gyms, so finding what I could do outside of a gym, it took a long time. And now I'm doing things that I'm really happy with, using the 6-foot sticks. I cut down the 7-foot stick, so I had 2 6-foot sticks, because cod liver oil for your knee pain. Oh my God. My knee pain was not a deficiency of cod liver. It was a mechanical disorder. Kind of like my burping it's a mechanical disorder. It's from sitting hunched over the steering wheel, hunched over the computer, hunched over so much. And I'm using my 6-foot sticks to tighten the back, tighten the upper back, tighten the lower back, tighten the back of the leg, the butt even. Just try to tighten everything in the back. That's my main focus. So I'm rigid because I'm sitting so much, and if I'm gonna sit so much, I want to at least make it worthwhile, like it's a stretch. Stop hunching. Well, when I look up, I hit my head on the roof, so I'm constricted by the roof of this car. This is a Ford Focus. This isn't some van where you got enough room to raise your hands all the way above your head. I can't raise. I mean, I can raise my hand above my head, but not by much in this car while sitting. And sometimes I get stuck in this car because it goes. You have a rain shower that blows in, and what am I going to do if I can't find a shelter to get out to walk back and forth in? I'm stuck in the car, just waiting out the cold, waiting out the rain. How many miles? It's 123K, I think. So it's doing okay. I had to change a tire recently. That was about it. Besides that, I mean, it struggles my car struggles to turn on in about 20-degree weather. It'll like practically not start. So when it gets down to 3 degrees in a couple of days, I'm probably not going anywhere. I gotta like find somewhere to park and just prepare my car not starting until it gets warm enough. Oh yeah, why don't I have more comfort in my life? Why don't I have more money in my life? That's the question. Go find a shelter. Yeah, let's say where would shelters be like in Little Rock? I really hate shelters. Every time I've checked them out, there's just been like drama. There's been homeless drama with mental illness. The mental illness brings out the drama. It's really disturbing to go to these homeless shelters. If you could stay out of them, it's a great idea. You'll go there and leave with things missing, or maybe a little psychological scarring. They scar each other pretty good. A shelter. I've checked out shelters in Oregon and Idaho. I've checked out shelters in Washington, shelters all over. It's been a while since in Las Vegas. I've gone to food banks all over. I haven't been doing food banks and shelters so much. Drive to Brownsville. How far is Brownsville from Little Rock, Arkansas? I'm not that desperate to make a big jump. I start losing circulation to my feet after 30 miles in this car. I don't like making big drives. Yeah, this storm, it's scary. I think I could deal with it. It's not going to be easy. Yeah, homeless shelters are, in general, just not a good idea to mess around. I had a bicycle parked in front of a homeless shelter in Boise, Idaho, with a little bag attached. Somebody took their knife and cut it right off overnight at some point. They'll do the tiniest, they'll do the smallest things. They'll do some bad things to each other in even the smallest of ways, just to be rude, just to be impulsive. There's impulsive problems, and I wonder if there's really many homeless people in the Midwest. There's the numbers are a lot smaller. I'm south enough right? So, Little Rock, Arkansas. I'm as far south as Las Vegas, and I'm pretty sure that there's a lot more homeless people in that direction in Las Vegas. I've seen a lot of homeless people. There's a lot more there than there are further inland. Because I mean, they can't sleep anywhere in the woods or in the sewage ditches. It's just too soggy. You're really constricted. Milk is extracted from cows, but not chemically extracted. The numbing on your feet are the little voices. The numbing. Did I say something about numbing? I know I did. The cold of winter is closing in on us all as the days of our lives run through. Okay, yep. Yeah, it's just for a couple of days it's gonna look ugly, but yeah, in the long term too, the lifespans, our short-term lives get challenged seasonally, and long-term lives over many decades. Yeah, it could be a gambling issue in Las Vegas. These people might be there for the excitement of it all. They don't need a lot of comfort. They just, as long as they're in that gambling environment. I think the closest for that excitement, that gambling or whatever, may be Branson, Missouri, but that's north of here now. I'm getting further south. Short emergency heat with Cisco shortening. Why not just a regular candle? I don't want to burn anything in this car. I'm done with candles. I got my propane heater, but you don't want to breathe in any of that gas. Wow. Even if it doesn't kill you, it can give you breathing problems long term. Oh yeah, lots of homeless in San Diego. Midwest seems life-threatening in the winter. Yep, it certainly is. You're dealing with more extremes in weather. That ocean really is a moderator. Half the homeless live on the coast. Cows extract milk from their own blood. Yeah, just like we extract pee from our blood, and that's a conversion. Oh, the jail. Yeah, that's a possibility. I don't have to do much. Just don't show my ID to the right cop, and I'm in jail. And they'd be not only serving justice, but doing a humanitarian aid as well. Breakfast. Oh yeah, yeah. There's options. I want to stick with sleeping in my car through this, but I'm just scared. This is just, a few days from now. I'm just trying to debate how to handle it. I'm gonna get hit by some of this cold, but if I could get, I don't know, maybe just another 100 miles south, then I'll get a little, 1 or 2 degree relief at least. Hmm. Yes. I don't know what the situation is down south of here and towards Little Rock, south of there. I don't know what to expect. I'm going into. See, that's the thing. I gotta prepare to hunker down in a better known place. That's good. That's a place that I can deal with, than try to do exploration in unknown places in the extreme cold. So, I should be doing a big jump tomorrow, and then getting familiar with that area so that I can get comfortable with my options, where I can get where a bathroom is, where water is, store maybe even to go in to warm up. Maybe even if it gets so bad, well, I don't know where the hospital is, whatever. in times of these extreme conditions, just getting established in an area, even for a couple of days, is a good thing. I've done that kind of in the past. Really hot days, 100-degree days or so. I don't know what to expect as I move further north. So sometimes I just hunker down a little bit and just stick around the hot area. I mean, it's because of the further north doesn't bring much relief, only a couple degrees relief anyway. And I just look for the shade, try to get under that shade. A lot of cities will have emergency shelter. Yeah, if they wanna look good, because we know about what's going on in Rio Grande with the migrant influx. They've declared a state of emergency, so they don't want to look like they're ignoring all those extra homeless people on their streets. Just keep saying, I know you are, to the judgelet and stay jailed for contempt. The storm, what I could do is, I don't want to say on this video. Yeah, the Louisiana situation's still a dagger hanging over my head. And I have a feeling the Third Circuit Court of Appeals is going to keep that dagger floating over my head extra long. Isn't there a time limit? There's a time limit for the beginning process of a court case. The judge, the court has a year to follow through with the proceedings for speedy trial rights. But I mean, the speedy trial rights must apply to the Court of Appeals in some way as well. At least in other states, at least in all the other states, you could jump out of the city court and go into district courts, and that's like a 2-week process. And then you get a more fair trial with being able to utilize a jury. But in Louisiana, they got to keep you away from those juries. You go through the city judge, and then you pay your $20,000 to jump into the Court of Appeals and totally avoid a jury. Because the judges have ruled that in Louisiana that the people cannot decide properly for themselves, so the judges make all the big decisions for us or for them. I'm bound to Louisiana by the $1,500 bond that's on me. What are you doing for Christmas? Yeah, I gotta find somewhere to hunker down for Christmas. I was originally thinking Memphis for Christmas, but I've seen in all the crime that was reported, 20 kids breaking into Walmart and ransacking it, and then at a Dollar General, one kid got caught by the store manager for stealing and was getting wrestled a lot, escaped, and then came back with like his gang, and they tore up the Dollar General. And then a shootout at a gas station between a cop and another guy. They have no fear. I don't think I want to stop in Memphis. That was a consideration. But I haven't been keeping up on the news for Little Rock. It might not be any better. Yeah, I'm not going to really burn anything. I'll use hand warmers. It's scary, this cold. It's tough to deal with, especially when I don't have all my insulation. I just need to dig through my car to find everything I got and put it on. Because I got snow pants. They're like buried on the very bottom. I just need to move things out. I need to go and just park somewhere and dig through my car and get out all my winter gear and just have it ready to go in a couple of days. Because I could do pretty good. I got the sleeping bags And these clothes, they just get buried. Oh, snowing in North Florida? Wow. Um, and it's -5 where Gummy is. You need to make sure it's done before. Yeah, I need to prepare in advance for this. The weatherman has put out the warning. And I see that there's in this area it's still a river flood warning. They refuse to take down the river flood warning. I don't know why they keep it up, but there's something going on with the river around here. From 100 miles north of here to here. Every time I've checked the weather for different cities, it's a river flood warning for a 100-mile stretch so far. Should have fattened up for the winter. Yeah, because my fingers can get fat like a bear paw. That's how the body is adjusts, right? I should have grown a coat. I should have grown a winter coat. So, yeah, and that's what I was thinking. Like, this flooding warning is kind of interesting. As I get closer to the state of Mississippi, and I kind of followed the river of the Mississippi River, it's like I wonder if pretty much the whole state is like a river. Is like the river spreads out across the whole state because the whole state is a swamp, right? I was just wondering about that, but I have to actually see Mississippi to really make an accurate get an accurate perception of that state. But I think maybe it's like named because it's pretty much just it's the flood end of the Mississippi, and it's all spread out. It's all swampy. Elements of the river are just spread out. Sometimes I can't even hold a pen. I'm actually under my covers. Oh yeah, I can't use my my tablet. I can't watch YouTube videos when it's too cold because I can't breathe if I put my head under the covers and try to hold that tablet. It's outside of the covers. My hands get too cold for that. And in 3-degree weather, yeah, there's no way. Breathing gets more difficult. I get more fluid in my lungs. I need to keep the windows open. It becomes like almost more important than ever to have my windows down a little bit. Not They don't need to be all the way because even the slightest breeze is going to be painfully cold. But I still need airflow because the moisture it collects in warmer surfaces. So my lungs got to deal with that, especially sitting in my car too long. My lungs don't like when I lay down too long. You can camp in your car along the Gulf of Mississippi east of Biloxi. Okay, well, yeah, I just don't want to sit in one spot for weeks and weeks. I'd like to gradually travel. That's why I want to try to just endure this cold. Just and it should warm up. It's not going to just stay 3 degrees. And then I could get back to just trying to move along and at my slower pace. I don't want to make a big jump and then just really it didn't not really have great options on where to go, because where I would go if I made it all the way to the coast of the Gulf of Mexico coast, then I want to start heading east and then follow the coast east. And I don't want to go too far east because I want to go back up and north into Wisconsin for the summer. And then I have to curve around, so I want to keep my traveling as deliberate as possible. Open the AC vents instead of my windows? Well, yeah, I'll keep that open too, but I mean, I got screens over my windows. The windows can stay open. Keep my doors propped a little bit open. Trick to breathing under the... Oh, okay. With your knees. maybe I could have a pipe. Maybe I don't have any like get a chimney pipe, and I could use that under the covers. That's something I've never tried before. And then breathe through that. um, but yeah, I mean, I'm sure everybody else is you know, prepared. A lot of you guys are in the cold. Um, just call it cold. Enjoy the benefits. Yeah, it's a cold therapy. I'll have energy at some point to do some exercising in that cold. But then when I get tired, that's the biggest challenge. And I don't want to exercise too hard and overtrain, and then when I have to relax and sleep, I don't want to be too tired. Try to just maintain an even flow of energy as I get through this cold. Not, you know, not like have a big pot of coffee or so. I'm done with coffee anyway. It's no more coffee for me. But yeah, some people might try to use caffeine to get through the cold weather. That's not really or alcohol. Drink lots of alcohol to warm up. Yeah, I need to grow some brown fats. That's yeah. It's insulation. Insulation really makes a big difference. I learned that in Wisconsin. I slept out in -17 weather. It was not. I barely survived it, but I mean, I had a thick layers of clothing covering me all over. 7 to 14 inches of snow. Okay, that's in Washington too. It's Washington generally doesn't. There's no snow plows in Portland, Oregon, so they just let the snow melt because they just in the experiences with their interactions with the environments, they found that they don't have to plow that snow because it'll warm up enough to melt away. Even if it's like a foot. I was in Portland and it snowed a foot, and I'm like, oh, I wonder when the snow plows are gonna come. And somebody is like, nope, they're not coming. There's no snow plows in Portland, but there might be snow plows in Washington. But I mean, it's still along the coast, so maybe not. It's a good chance that there's not. I don't even. I wonder if there's even snow plows in Arkansas. It's not the cold. It's not the snow that's going to be the problem. It's just the raw cold that I'll be dealing with. There's no snow problems. Yeah, cooking in the severe cold is hard with the propane. Propane doesn't do so great when it's cold out. It's like it doesn't burn. It burns very inefficiently. That's why I think I wonder if the pioneers may have. Well, that's the thing. Well, this is cooking with propane. I'm like, I question, do the pioneers prefer to cook in the afternoon when it's at its hottest temperature? But we're talking about pioneers who worked with wood and could use iron stoves. I'm working with just propane, and I'll say it's my best advantage to cook at about 1 p.m., 2 p.m. In the winter time, even in the summer. But it's when it's 90 degrees out, it's not very enjoyable to be outside of my car as I'm cooking anyway. I could cook any time of the day in the summertime. In the winter time, I kind of want to focus my cooking in the afternoon when it's at its warmest, because then I don't waste as much of the propane. And there's a Walmart employee who said that the prices are going up at Walmart's after January 1st for everything. I was like, for food? And she's like, for everything. So that's a concern. So, you know, spending $100 a night at a hotel Thursday and Friday night to get through the coldest parts coming up doesn't look so attractive. when we're facing higher prices coming up. Because I'm only making maybe $20 a day, so I gotta conserve that. Be careful how I spend it. I've been wasteful in the past, but I have learned my lessons through being wasteful, through making the mistakes of buying things I never needed. I bought a lot of things that I tried them and gave them up, and it's just a waste. But that memory burns hot in my mind. I know that I would never do that type of purchase again. Testing things out, newest technology or exercise equipment. Government is upping the checks. Oh, the checks for the government. Yeah, I see people. There's people who got disability checks they're getting 1,200 or so a month. That's more than me. They're doing pretty good. But I don't have any disabilities. Maybe someday something horrible will happen. I keep myself pretty healthy. I work pretty hard trying to figure things out. Too hard, too much times, maybe at times. Focused on myself? Why should I be spending so much time trying to figure out my personal problems? The Bates Motel is an option, huh? Is there the Bates, is that originated in this area? I know the Stephen King's hotel from that movie, what was that called again? With Jack Nicholson? Man, I read the book even. Oh well. Yeah, there's actual places that exist that gave inspiration to these stories. You just need a few complete sets of clothing, laptop, and a phone. Okay. Yeah, I only was in The Shining. That's right. That wasn't even on the tip of my tongue either. Yeah, I don't get any other money but from YouTube. That's it. Cheap hotels, yeah. Give me a cockroach hotel. What's northeast of Little Rock, Arkansas? I'm heading kind of towards Little Rock, and it's yeah. I don't know. I'd like to just not move fast past it because of the cold, but it's getting scary. Yeah, I'm in Arkansas. It's middle of December. I'm in Arkansas. Isn't that like kind of good? Because I expect the coldest time of the year to be towards the end of January and beginning of February. It's not the coldest time of the year is not on the shortest day of the year, which is coming up on what, December 23, December 24. It comes up a month after the coldest time follows a month after the shortest day of the year. So I'm moving south. I know it's getting colder. This is just the first cold wave coming in, and I don't want to just have to jump south to deal with it. And then there's gonna be some, yeah, the murder. There's gonna be some hot days coming up, some heat waves. A heat wave could follow this cold spell. Yeah, cheap hotels. What kind of cheap hotel am I willing to put? Airbnb? Are there any cheap Airbnbs out there? Just to warm up. Just need a warming shelter. Just to have warm conditions. I mean, yeah, the bed bugs. The ants will eat the bed bugs. Yeah, the ants don't come out until it gets maybe above 60 degrees or so in my car. Yeah, that's the thing. I don't want to park in shade, that's for sure. I look for shade in the summertime, and then I avoid shade in the winter. The sun really does a good job warming the interior of the car. Even if it's like 30 degrees, it could feel like 50 inside the car. Oh, this is the Midwest. I mean, and on the Pacific coast, you got a gradual rise and fall of temperature, maybe 10 degrees throughout the day, every day, year round. You come into the Midwest and it's crazy how much it fluctuates. There's just no great control. I would think the desert would experience more wild fluctuations in temperature, but I mean, it is a little bit closer to the Pacific Ocean still. Even though the Pacific Ocean has a minimal impact on the weather, there's still a little bit more stability. The very middle part of the country is going to be just bad. North Dakota gets really bad, and I've seen that seems to drop colder weather to colder temperatures in Wisconsin, even Minnesota, even that whole region up there north there is it's dangerous in the wintertime, especially for homeless people. Andrew Oyster wants a shout out. Okay. The ocean is a great modulator. Yeah, the ocean really takes care of stabilizing the temperature. It's a swamp cooler, but I can only look around the coast so much. I've seen quite a bit of the coast, and it's interesting, but yeah, the Midwest is interesting. I've learned about the swamp fox, reading signs in different cities. The swamp fox out of Pocahontas, Arkansas. He was stealing boats and equipment from the Confederates during Civil War, and the swamp fox got caught in Pocahontas at a hotel. It was like somebody snitched and told the Confederates he was there, so they ran over there and got him. And I wouldn't have learned about that if I didn't travel to this area. It's nice to be able to come to these areas and learn about the type of people who have existed and done things in the area. You learn best about it in the region, being in the environment, seeing kind of how seeing the same things that they've seen a little bit, feeling the same conditions. Like, yeah, this is Civil War territory. There's Civil War still being fought through the winter. Maybe not as much. Maybe they took a little bit of a break, but and they didn't have forecasts like as advanced as we have them today. So the Civil War in the 1860s, this cold spell coming up would have been a big shock to everybody. And if they're busy fighting a war, I mean, they're not as capable of preparing for the extreme cold. But I mean, they could still burn. Well, they burned bonfires. You give your position away. But maybe there was some mutual respect, because in World War One learn about the mutual respect that occurred between the opposite sides. In some cases, it just kind of depends on the attitudes of the soldiers and all that. But this is Civil War territory, and yeah, I'm experiencing the same conditions in a lot of ways that they were. Popping firecrackers on New Year's. Yeah, I was driving through this town. Which town are you talking about right now? Oh, there's north. The town's north, Doniphan and Pocahontas. I don't know how far south the Civil War has reached. But yeah, it's there's fighting throughout. Was there any battles around Little Rock? I don't know. I'll find out. That's why I would like to check it out a little bit. See, St. Louis, I think, had some battles. There's there was a lot of soldier movement, trails blazed to get to the battlefields, whatever. And that's a large part of our history that I'm traveling through and getting familiar with completely. In California, don't think of it at all. Oregon, Washington, you don't think about, even in the Southwest desert, there weren't any civil wars battles fought in the Southwest desert. So it's really neat to be able to travel through these areas and get a physical experience, even though it's kind of risky now that I'm facing 3-degree weather on Thursday night. It's a little scary. They didn't have hotels to sleep in, fancy hotels. Sometimes the Swamp Fox was sleeping in a hotel in Pocahontas, and he was caught in maybe September. So September is a good time to fight, but when the winter comes up, then it's a little harder to fight. And I mean, the cold conditions really influence how you fight. Because I was just learning about how Russia stopped using drones in Ukraine because it's too cold. Well, it can get too cold for my car. It can get too cold for my computer equipment, for my own drone. I get the cold warning on my drone. So if there's something cool to check out as I'm traveling a little bit on Thursday and Friday, a drone would really capture the scene. I couldn't do it unless if I maybe put the drone under my armpit for a little bit and had a really short flight. Then maybe I could get away with a little droning in the severe cold weather. But besides that, yeah, there's certain things I just have to like not consider as an option when it gets cold enough. My water will freeze. My computer batteries will lose half their lives in a matter of hours. There's there's a lot of St. Louis was involved in the Revolutionary War too. I know St. Louis was the starting point for Lewis and Clark's adventure, and I wanted to check out their launch site. It was in the northeast part of St. Louis, but I didn't get around to that. And I think I'd like to go on the way back north, maybe check it out. It was cold in St. Louis a month ago. Too cold for me. I didn't want to explore. So I just kept moving south a little faster. But yeah, there's a lot going on in St. Louis with their folklore, their history. But it gets cold. I mean, as easygoing as it may seem, it's kind of part of the South. But I didn't start hearing the the southern accents, until I got further south of St. Louis. I didn't really hear any southern accents in St. Louis, north of St. Louis. I started hearing more significant southern accents south of St. Louis. And you listen to librarians. I think there's maybe a little southern accent in those librarians I interacted with, and in Donovan and Pocahontas, and you could watch it and listen. If assuming that Donovan librarian video hasn't been taken down yet, try going from winter in Australia for 4 months to the end of autumn. winters in Australia are crazy. Single bedroom house in Shorewood for 55. That's, man, I hate to spend that kind of money. Is Sherwood around Little Rock? I hate to spend that kind of money. I don't even want to consider spending money on. I spent money on hand warmers. So that's, I mean, that's $1 a pack. So I use $1 for 8 hours for each hand, and maybe I'll open up like 2 or 3 of them. So that'd be $3 for 8 hours overnight. So I probably need to open up another pack later, halfway through the night or something. There's Denise is sitting in her van in Washington. Yeah, Washington. The snow can melt in Washington. The snow will melt in Arkansas too, though. I think. I don't think. Yeah, because I was just at a park here. Okay, I'm in Searcy, and I recorded it a little bit. It's a little ice skating rink with no ice in this park next to the library, and they charge money to use it. And it's just plastic. It's sheets of plastic, and it looks like they might use normal skates, and they're skating on plastic to simulate skating on actual ice. So they can't even freeze water around these parts. They have to use sheets of plastic to simulate ice skating rinks, and that's the first I've ever seen it. I don't think water freezes so easily. I'm far past the glaciers, the cold whatever that cold, when the glaciers came through, far past south of their reach. And it's just, I don't know, it's just a weather change. So you're in Washington and you miss California. They're not too different. If you're on the coast, you're doing great. The coastal regions are pretty relaxed. California's coast is nice, but just all along the coast. And I would venture to guess even the Canadian Pacific coast must be pretty nice. The Alaska Pacific coast, and then south in Mexico, South America, those just anywhere along the Pacific coast, there's got to be a good chance of it's got to be nice. And it'd be nice to explore. I would have explored further north into the Canadian region if we didn't have that pesky border in the way. I would have gone further north. I would venture into as far as Alaska. Just follow the coast. If our coast border wasn't so constricted, I would definitely love to just travel only the coast, follow it from the tip of South America up to Alaska, and just enjoy the trip, not having to rush, not having to worry about significant changes in weather. There's no 3 degrees on the Pacific coast anywhere from the tip of South America to Alaska. It can't freeze. The ocean just can't freeze. The ocean's always going to keep it regulated. And then the prevailing winds, because we're not talking about on the East Coast. The East Coast is more vulnerable to the weather change. It's the prevailing winds. It's not only the ocean. The prevailing winds, uh, like complete the Pacific weather, the Pacific environment. The winds are prevalent, blowing east, blowing that ocean air in onto the land. It doesn't quite do that so much on the East Coast. It's more blowing the land air out into the ocean. So they're dealing with more different conditions. I have a tarp over my van. All right, thank you, Zap. I appreciate that. It's nice of you. Nova Scotia has that ocean ballast, though. That's Nova Scotia's on the east side, right? It's a ballast. Yeah. Okay. Maybe I don't know the I'm not great at geography. I try to just learn by going to the place and seeing what's going on. Well, Nova Scotia's on the east side. Because I learned there's that parrot, that Indian ringed parrot that got very popular with that girl, Kiwi, the Indian ringnet parrot. And there's that girl, her YouTube channel just got extremely popular, and she said she was living in Nova Scotia, and then she moved. I think she got so famous she didn't need to live in her less expensive house or something, because that her Indian ringneck parrot knew how to say a lot of different things in a cute way, and they made dolls. What is it? The blue chicken? It's called the blue chicken. Tamara's blue chicken. She lived in Nova Scotia, but she's moved out now. Devil's Lake, North Dakota. It's a -11. Oh man. -30. Oh geez, yeah. That's the wind chill makes a big difference. Yeah, I was in Devil's Lake. I know that. I explored that an abandoned house at the end of a dirt road, and visited a friend. I was there during 4th of July a couple of years ago. Devil's Lake. It's unique. So all right. Thank you, Denise. And you live in a van? I don't know if that's too generous of you. Found a room for rent on Airbnb for 25. Okay, 25 might be kind of reasonable. I have to get an account set up with Airbnb. I don't even have the app. I don't use an app. I love that. I've been by that house a few times. This is the end of a dead. You talking about the dead end road in Devil's Lake, with the abandoned house? That was interesting. He's got bullets in that house. No, I didn't see any. Well, I didn't explore, every inch, but there's bullets still, and it's been ransacked, but they left the bullets behind. Yeah, I mean, maybe I could look into Airbnb then. That's the 25 kind of looks more attractive. I don't want to pay 100. Airbnb for the area around Little Rock. That'd be interesting. I almost like to be cold in my van. Yeah, I mean, I've slept. Drive 4 hours and I'll put, oh my God. But then I still, 4 hours back north, and I still have to, deal with the future cold. That long-term cold for the summer, the winter time. And I got more exploring to do. I have to admit, I slowed down my southern descent upon a lot of bad news about crime. I was Armed fisherman DUI? I'll have to look into that. That's interesting. That's thanks for the report there. That'll get the trolls salivating. They love to chomp on that stuff. Armed fisherman. He's a bit of a he's having a difficult time controlling his drinking. I slowed down my southern descent because I got scared of the crime a little bit, so I wanted to slow it down. But now this, it's a push pull factor. It's like, okay, I slow it down because of the crime, but oh, this cold weather coming up, it's kind of pushing me. It's been pushing me though. That's the thing. He owned his crime a month ago. So the armed fisherman, it was a month ago now. Kind of like that Biden official who got caught stealing luggage. He was doing it back in September, and now we're just finding out about it. They were able to bury that news, and until they could no longer bury that, keep until they bury that news until they no longer could keep it buried. He lied to cops. He denied having any guns in his car. Oh, drinking and carrying guns. Yeah, you'd think somebody who's going to be trying to represent a very represent a a position that's not respectful, but just nah, not honorable. Just he's trying to represent something that's responsible. He's trying to represent a responsible position, and he does. That means he's going to be he's kind of being held to a higher standard than a regular civilian in a way. If you're gonna represent legal issues, if you're gonna stand up for legal issues, you kind of hold yourself up to a higher standard. Your other people will hold you up to a higher standard, just like News Now Houston. He was. I mean, it would be no big deal if he was a silent person who kept to himself, but it became a big deal when he became News Now Houston started recording interactions with cops promoting a civil rights promoting civil rights, and he still had the sword of Damocles hanging over his head that counteracted his persona. He does try to teach firearms rights. Yeah, nobody's perfect. And is that a rabbit? There's something that's crawling along the woods line. I'm facing a woods line here, which is kind of nice in this Walmart parking lot. So there's no businesses over there. I like being parked at Walmarts that have only that have a wood line. But yeah, there's a lot of people pay. You ever hear? I never really heard this PayPal Pat. That the Pat guy. He's going around enforcing his civil rights, and then turns around and begs for a lot of money, and people have a real name for him now. I never heard before, but that's among PayPal Pat. That's among the troll communities. There's the communities of people who just don't like to be pushed around at all for any reason. Push back. And then there's communities that just want total obedience to the law, no matter what the rule is. Whatever rule is set, they want that followed. So they're like Jay Leno. I think if Jay Leno was to decide to either join the trolls or the the civil rights, the First Amendment auditors, civil rights groups. I think he would choose the side of with the trolls. From his latest interview, after getting his face burnt, that's how he's gotten back in the news. He just had to set his face on fire. That's what he said. But he said that he trusts everything that the doctors do because they're the professionals. He didn't question uh, what the doctors do. He just accepts that they're in a professional position because they know better, without question. And that's what trolls do. Trolls don't question the authority at all. They just assume that the cops and judges and lawyers are all acting in the best interest possible for everybody, without question. That's why they are in their positions, and the trolls are totally behind that how that is structured. And then they these trolls with that knowledge in mind, with that strength in their resolve, they go out and lash out against people who do question, if the doctors know what they're doing, or the judges or lawyers who do dispute the rules a little bit. The trolls rally and support the rules, and the rule makers. Just and then you got those clashes of, they're kind of ideologies in a way. Follow the rules or question the rules. You have a choice to make there. You have a position to take. Which side are you on? And they get together in groups. They form support groups based upon these differences in ideologies. Getting his face burnt off has definitely ruined his perspective. Yeah, he just put out an interview with like ABC or something. It's kind of interesting. Yeah, he's got a different perspective now. But I mean, he got the best treatment. It's hard to even tell anything happened. But I mean, this is with YouTube resolution. YouTube has a limit on the resolution, so it's hard to see great detail, and that's probably for the best anyway, with some of the gruesome things people can post on YouTube. Clear your tarp. Denise has to clear her tarp. Thank you for your donation too. Will you stay live more over the next 2 weeks? Yeah, I'll try to live the next 2 weeks. Stay live? Oh, Tom Zebra, I haven't checked him out. Or Gavin Zeman. Gavin Seam is a coward. Oh, he's a coward? Okay. I haven't really seen Tom Zebra's videos. It was interesting while I was more further west to watch his stuff, but now I've just not been paying attention. But that name is certainly familiar. And I do like to check up on the old familiar names from time to time. There's no checking on Eric Brandt, though. Or now there's not going to be any future checking on News Now Houston, I guess. Unless if he could get out on a parole of some kind early. Or probably not. Neutrality, yeah. Notice how much they just want you to join. So yeah, join a team. I would be going, just like watch. Okay, thanks, Jerry Rice. Zebra is one of the original. Yeah, Zebra started out early, and he's just so hardcore. Everything the cops do is wrong. Type of his conversations are everything a cop can't do anything right type of thing. So it's hard to watch the extremists in either way. You know, I find myself laughing at the extremist trolls who just want all rules to be obeyed. I find that so funny. Why don't you just follow the rules? And that's humorous to me. And watching the opposite side where it's like people who bash cops and question everything the cops do. It's not quite as humorous to me. There's different levels of comedy that can come out of this. And the most comical to me seems to be what trolls say when they're in their groups a lot of times. But it just depends on who's talking. I try to. It's like when you watch the news, you kind of wanna like hear what uh, the hear what other countries are reporting on for similar news that American news agencies are reporting on, because you can get different viewpoints. Different languages really offer different perspectives on news, and they may not be so biased either. So it's interesting to get those different perspectives. Uh, oh, Mike Tribben is on. I don't know how to pronounce your name. Oh yeah, he is. There he is. Saying hi to all. Um, let's see. This low dust cell. I burnt my seatbelt in front of the DMV. Okay, that's a little crazy. I'm looking for seatbelt. Let's see. I need seatbelt. Gavin Seam. I have to see what Gavin Seam. People change their minds, so maybe there is a period of time where you didn't like this person, but you give them a couple of years, and you might have a different a different type of person. Yeah, I have a 10-foot strap, 2 inches wide, and only one. I sewed the ends together, and it is one of my most favorite exercise equipment that I can do a lot of restricted movements for excellent exercises in a lot of different ways. And I want to get more. And seatbelt is a real good possibility. I would like to find crashed cars and rip and cut out their seatbelts. And I don't know quite how to do it. Maybe you gotta, if you go to a junkyard, sometimes you gotta like pay $10 just to be able to walk around. I want to be able to just like walk up to a junk car with a nice long seatbelt and just cut it out, take it. Um, or I guess I could look for an army surplus store. They sell straps sometimes, but I want a few more of these. I want more straps so I can make a couple more of these 10 feet loop straps for my exercising. That's something that's what motivates me a little bit to walk to travel around, because I'm exploring, and I'm kind of on a reconnaissance mission too, a little bit, looking for things to salvage. I'm looking for things to salvage at times. I'm a bit of an herbalist. I look for herbs to not salvage but collect. At the right time. I think I'm far enough south though. Everything is unfamiliar. I'm outside of Slippery Elm Range. Um, let's see. The Aussie Explorer, he ran to Mexico for. Oh yeah, and he speaks really. He argues in Spanish now. It's pretty impressive. Gavin Seam. Let's see. I figure it's pronounced Triban. Yes, Zap. Triban. Mike Triban. Okay, not Tribban. All right. It's like I like to say Des Moines, Iowa instead of Des Moines. It's just kind of some things are just more fun to pronounce it in a particular way. So all right. Um, I've spoken about my fears about the cold coming in. I've complained a little bit about my burping, how that's a continuing problem. I've seen that people have made some suggestions, and I appreciate that. Yeah, I've learned a little bit here. I've got some things to think about. So in the next few days, I just yeah um, I'll be trying to put forth some decisions. I'm gonna have to look into um, the armed fisherman now. That's very curious, but it happened a month ago. Like it's old news. That is new news to me. Uh, Figured out the gut issue remedy yet? Well, I'll tell you what. I figured out my gas problems for sure. You gotta stretch out the upper back if you got stuck gas pains in your lower bowels. You gotta stretch out your upper back. I know that. All this hunching over was causing me lower bowel inflammation that got really bad, and now it's not a problem at all because I'm stretching out my back when I can. I could do more, um, but I've really held that inflammation at bay by maintaining a healthier stretch to my upper back. And then I'm also tightening it up with my two 6-foot sticks as well. It's been really nice. So yeah, I've discussed various things here, and it's been a long time. Aspirin helps. Oh my God, I would not. No, I would chew on willow bark, but not aspirin. Uh, So I'm gonna stop it here, and thanks for visiting, and stay warm for this cold front coming in.